stand tall. Words are blades that never fall. Debate like warriors brave. Every thought we give and save. Through the noise we cut clean. Spirited minds sharp and keen. With a spark that lights the night. Join us in this epic fight. Welcome to the Spartan arena, where minds clash and thoughts gleam. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Buckle up and take your stance. In this arena there's no chance to escape the vibrant lore. Diving deep and search for more. From heartfelt talks to fierce debates, we explore what fate creates. Side by side we seek the light. In the dark our minds ignite. Welcome to the Spartan arena, where minds clash and thoughts gleam. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. In the ring we stand tall. Words are blades that never fall. Debate like warriors brave. Every thought we give and save. In the ring we stand tall. Words are blades that never fall. Debate like warriors brave. Every thought we give and save. Through the noise we cut clean. Spirited mind sharp and keen. With a spark that lights the night. Join us in this epic fight. Welcome to the Spartan arena, where minds clash and thoughts gleam. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Buckle up and take your stance. In this arena, there's no chance to escape the fight by lore. Diving deep in the search for more. From heartfelt talks to fierce debates, we explore what fate creates. Side by side we seek the light. In the dark our minds ignite. Welcome talks to fierce debates, we explore what fate creates. Side by side we seek the light. In the dark our minds ignite. Welcome to the Spartan arena, where minds clash and thoughts gleam. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Buckle up and take your stance. In this arena, there's no chance to escape the fight by lore. Diving deep in the search for more.
Spartans! What is your profession?
What is going on, everybody? We're back at it with another show, with another episode. Of course, you know where you're at. You're a Spartan SU Network. I'm your host, the Spartan, aka Peter. How is everybody doing tonight? We have a interesting topic tonight. But before we get into it, how is everybody doing tonight? Seriously. It's just been one of those days. But seriously, this topic is something I've been wondering a while. Do women protect men? That is something that I've been pondering and thinking about for a while. We know women protect women. We did a show with it recently, about a week or two, maybe a little more on that. And the results were in women do protect women. But, and I'm going to do a show soon if men protect men. But the question tonight is, do women protect women? From motherhood to sons to fathers to husbands, the identity of a woman protecting the deep roots in relationships goes in history, years and years and years of this. But what it does not mean it's always happiness. It's love, loyalty, compassion, or something else. In 2025, do we still have those morals today? Do we have those expectations? We're going to explore that today. We're going to break it down. We will destroy those walls and find the truth. And one of the videos, I'm going to put a little sneak peek. I didn't watch all of them, but I got some videos, but one of them I watched most of it. It's a little bit disturbing in a way, because the woman says in it, I miss the old happy days that a man just shut the fuck up, pay the bills, and learn his place. I was like, wow. And I go, of course, I'm not paraphrasing to the T, and I'm going to show this later on in a little bit when the guys start showing up. But damn, she has some balls to say that on a live stream. And not only a live stream, in public. Is that what we are to you, women? Just a cash cow? A bank? An ATM? It's just one of those things that we wonder. We are we're raised to know we have to protect a woman in our life. Our mother, our daughter, or mother, daughter, I said that, a wife, sister's cousin, whatever. And we're known we have to do that. But do we actually know they're going to have our backs too? But that's not even the question tonight. The question is, would they have our backs when we need it? Whatever the case is from financial to emotional to different type of distress. Hey, what is going on, smart ass? I guess you don't like the new haircut look. But the point is trying to get to is we have this expectation on us as men, but their expectation, I feel, they're not equal to women. We have to do everything for them. Sometimes it feels like that. I'm not saying it is. Sometimes it feels like we have to do everything, and they sit back and relax. But it's not always like that, unfortunately. It's just one of those things. Is like, is it true or is it not? Oh, hang on. There you are. There we go. Fix that camera problem. All right. Give me 1 second to fix one little thing here. There we are. All right, and we have Wall in the building, and it says just just like they would said, they ain't the old times. So why are you asking something you not willing to do? Good question. That is a good question because we're not in the old times. We are in the 25th century. But I do think we went the wrong direction in a way, in a relationship wise, marriage wise, dating wise. Is this the route do we really want to take as human beings? Is this the way do we want to continue? But the question I do have is, and I know I have a couple of you guys from overseas. Is this all over the place, or is it only a stateside thing? Is it a UK thing too? Is it a European thing too? Is it a Middle Eastern thing too? Women feel like they are owed something when they're not, or they need something from us more than anything. This is a very difficult question. And we have one comment answering it. It says, my wife would protect me if I was in trouble. Okay, let me ask you this question. What kind of trouble are we talking about? Financial, emotional, physical? Are you getting jumped? Your life is in danger? Will she take a bullet for you? She would also be kicking my backside. Yeah, that sounds like a personal problem, buddy. But seriously, then, like if she like from what you're saying, it sounds like you have a good woman. And I'm not mistaken, brother. You're from the UK, right? So are all women like that in the UK? Oh, F them. But my question is to you is all of them. Oh, okay, I see. So my question is because you're from, overseas, is most women like that from your understanding, or is it only a what's the word I'm trying to find here? Is it just a handful of women will say, "Yeah, I got my man's back. I got him. Don't worry," or is it more a one of those things? That is the question. Not all. Okay, I'll take that answer. So you guys having the same problem as we do here is like they run their mouths, blah 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 blah. Blah. They talk shit and they expect to be treated like princesses. Again, I'm not saying every single woman is like that. I'm not. That's far from the truth. Actually, there are some very incredible women out there. Paul's wife is one good example. My buddy CQ's wife is another example. King Smith's woman is another example. I'll give you that's 3 examples. But how far between is that? We already know in history, women are, used to protect their men no matter what. The history books have written it. But you tell me, Pete, that is so many years ago, 100 years or whatever. And I'll tell you, yeah, you're right. It has been long. But being behind a man, it was a symbol of loyalty, protection. Like I know a few women will say they will take out of the vows, obey. And I don't really see the problem with that personally. Again, it maybe it's me. And My man says, my wife would take a bullet for me. And that's a good woman to have. And that's a woman you need to have in your corner. You need a woman that can actually have your back, protect you, and also tell you when you're fucking up at the same time. I know this is kind of funny, but I bet most of you guys have seen My Fat Greek Wedding, the original. When she says, yeah, the man might be head of the house, but a woman could turn the head. To me, that meant more they're united together, but whatever he decides, I have his back. Okay. I can understand that. But again, it does not give us explanation why we were here and now we're here. Let's put it in the camera view. We're here and we're here. We're so far between each other. And that is the problem. I don't understand how we fall so far from the apple from the tree. The apple from the tree. You know what I meant. It's so far that we don't know how to get back to it. You see women acting unreasonable sometimes. They will freak out because they didn't get their way. And then they cry wolf. Oh, my man doesn't treat me well. He's not a good man. Because they're not getting their way. But then when you do meet a good woman and she's with a piece of shit guy, you're making scratch like, why is she with him? He's a dirtbag. All right, so we have another comment here. It says, we have been together for 13 years with problems. She got me got me out of it. She did save my life years ago. Just before we got together, I was going to take my own life before I met her. All right, I got to address this really fast. Brother, I don't know if you're religious or not religious. I am, obviously. Like, for example, I always wear my cross. I know wearing a cross doesn't make you religious, but I always wear my cross. I have one on my arm. There it is. I'm Greek Orthodox. Taking your life is not the answer. It's not. What is the answer is fighting back. Being determined. Keep pushing forward. And being the stronger person. I can't sit here and say I pity those people who take the life or call them pussies. But it makes you stop and think, what pushed them so far to get to that point? Great example, JDF, Jason David Frank, the original White Ranger, Green Ranger, White Ranger, Zeo Red, Turbo Red, and Dino Thunder Black. He says, hell no, sorry, I am not. But according to your comment, you almost did one time. Back to JFDF, I met the guy personally. Pretty decent guy. He was all about his fans and everything. The story says he got pushed too far mentally with his wife, whatever the case is, but he took his own life. And that is not the answer. It's never the answer to do any of that stuff. So if your wife saved your life, like you said, go up and kiss her. Give her a hug and tell her thank you. Because now I'm glad you're part of the Spartan family. You're always going to be welcome to come up. You'll always have my ear and a shoulder. Just remember, that's not the way. Even though it's the past, not now, but that's even the point. Okay, let's go with the next comment he put. Is my rock. Nikki is my rock. I was really bad place. At the time, everything was going wrong, and I was going downhill fast. Then she came into my life and showed me a better way. And that's right. Listen, this is one comment I always say. I've been saying this since the channel started 3 years ago. And I always said one thing: we all gonna fall down, but we're not gonna fall backwards. We're gonna fall forward. So we're gonna see our mistakes going down that hill. So when we bust our ass going down that hill, we're gonna land on our feet and we're gonna go up that hill and not make the same mistake twice. We have free will. Let them fight it out. They still others that understand the landscapes. And that's true. They will, in a way that's true, and strange is wrong. Yeah, they can fight it out, figure the landscape out. But the point of the conversation today is, do women have our backs? Calling my boy Greg here, yeah, he has great women that has his back. But is it all women like that? I know a buddy of mine who passed. His wife did not have his back. She only had a paycheck in her mind the whole time. When I mean Gold Digger 101, it should be a picture next to her, in that word next to her. Excuse me. Her picture should be next to that word. That's how much she is. And when she didn't get her way, she threw a fit and eventually divorced his ass. That's not the way to do it. I'm sorry. She never had his back, his best interest. She only had herself interest. She didn't even have her kids as best interest. That's how pathetic that is. And it's sad. It's so sad it's not even funny. So, with everything going on now these days, we do need good women to have everybody's back and each other. And that is the problem sometimes. It makes you think. How far have we fallen from those days? Everybody has gotten to the point like they only care about themselves and only themselves. And we need to change that dramatically. To the point that we need to change the way we think, the way we do things. Makes you wonder sometimes. Big time. But anyway, let's see, because the guys are running a little late. Let me see where everybody is at, because people are running late. Okay. Yeah, let's see where that they are. So give them a few more minutes and I'll start playing some of these videos. But very fast, let's take a little pause of this. Like, I don't know if you guys seen the press conference with Apple today. That was a very disappointing press conference, in my opinion. I give them credit; they have developed a lot on their oh my god, their AirPods. They did a lot of work on their AirPods this year, so I like the idea they're going to be having translation now on their AirPods. I think that is actually a pretty neat thing to have. You can plug them in and hear it online. That's pretty cool, I think. Except that's one thing was cool about it this year. Nothing ever changes with the iPhones. Makes me wonder why they're so cool and nothing ever changes. You know what's funny? I also watched a thing the other day saying that oh, so what was it called? They were saying, I'm trying to think of the name of it now. Cell phones have gone boring and very stale, and they have. because so many some things have changed, and now we kind of hit the plateau finally, and they're the same. So let's see what Greg had to say here. Okay, you said paycheck. We are both sharing same benefits, and there were never been any money. We both support each other no matter what. We both go out together, and there is nothing we cannot do for each other. So here's my thing with that, brother. That's your relationship. But a lot of relationships not like that. Like my boy's relationship wasn't like that. It was completely the opposite, actually. He paid for everything since the day they met. She never worked. She got a new car every year. Her nails done all the time. Brand new house. I mean, brand new construction of a beautiful house. The only thing, her responsibility was to watch her kids. Yeah. So, except that, it's just one of those things. It makes you wonder: do women protect men? And that is a question I am wondering. And the girls will be coming up pretty soon, hopefully. And we're gonna ask them the question: do women protect men? That is the $1 million question. And like I said, one of the videos I have tonight says she misses the old days when men just shut the fuck up and just pay the bills. I was like, wow. Oh, I know that is Shamer want access to an Apple phone, like a picture message media on every event's phone, and Apple told him no. The Apple phones are just cool, dude. That's all they are. They think they're cool, but they not really are. They're just convenience point. All right, let's get her in here. Alicia, what's going on?
Hi, sorry, so late.
You're fine. How are you?
I'm doing better.
That's good.
Feeling good.
Good.
Yep, getting stronger every day.
And that is a plus. So
Yes,
tonight's topic is: do women protect men?
yes. I read about it. I
You-
believe,
Go ahead.
I personally do. If I'm being protected myself, then of course I'm going to protect my man. Like, I will do what I need to do to make sure that they feel safe and comfortable too. But
Okay.
if I don't feel protected by them, I can honestly say I don't feel like I'm to protect them. Because I feel like it's, I've always felt like I've been the protector and provider for so many men, and I get nothing in return. So I really changed how I look at things. Like, I expect the same from, I'll treat my man how I get treated myself.
Mm-hmm. So with that said,
Mm-hmm.
do you think in the States or marriage or any relationship is kind of toxic now?
Yes.
Why do you think that?
I just feel like people don't care for each other like they used to. They're interested in having more than one partner. I just feel like
That's true.
it's all gotten worse and worse. Like, I'm really like, I don't know where to go and like for next relationships, because I just feel like no one wants to put in the effort that was put in a long time ago.
Is it effort? Was it work?
Of course it's work.
Being with somebody shouldn't be work. It should be something pleasurable. When you're happy
That's
to do
true.
something, it's not work.
That's true.
You're enjoying it.
True. I feel like I've never been in an enjoyable relationship or marriage then, because I feel like it was always work.
On your side or their side?
on my side.
Okay, why do you say that?
I just feel like I always had to put effort into everything. Like nothing was ever. I just always felt like I was taking care of my man in almost all the
Did they care of you?
relationships I was in.
And they never took care. No, it was never returned 2 ways. You're saying.
Maybe here and there, but nothing consistent.
So why do you think that, and why didn't you put a stop to that?
Because I ignore red flags, and I'm used to just being treated like that, and I just ignore it. But I've come to a turnaround where I've been actually single for most of a year, and I'm not willing to. I feel like I can actually say I always felt like I needed somebody in my life,
Mm-hmm.
so I was willing to deal with whatever.
Hmm. All right, hang on. Let's get this guy in here
Okay.
really fast.
That cracks me up every time.
What? What's going on, my man?
It's getting old, but yeah,
What's up, buddy? How are you tonight?
I'm all right. I just got the pitch in since everyone's not here yet.
Yeah. Maybe they're gonna get the memo that we'll start doing it at 8:30. Anyway, so what's your opinion on this?
As far as do women protect men?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I'm gonna. Yeah. How would I say this? Initially, I would sit here and say no, only for the simple case of I think you gotta think about it from a more of an inclined state. It's like women don't really know men to a certain degree to, in a sense, to protect them. Granted, you can sit here and say this also is on a pre-calculus of prevention on a case of men, because of course men don't quote unquote open up. You can say, but personally, I just think like you know how they say the old cliche, men are from Mars, women are from Venus, but somehow we ended on Earth. That's just that thing right there. It's like you're really looking at two different things. Two different skeptics. No one really takes time to see the other side, to really acknowledge the other side on both ends of the foot, to really come to an understanding. So, from a standpoint of just saying, hey, do women protect men? As far as the women you're interested in some cases, no. Keyword some.
Okay. There's so many women out there that won't lift a finger for a man. And that is sometimes a problem.
I agree, but I also agree with the opposite. There's men that won't lift a finger either.
That's true too. There are it goes both ways in this one. This is a both way topic. And the fucked up part is you hear on both sides. A woman's side and a man's side. And both say the same thing. So what is the problem then there? Is it a woman versus a man versus a woman, or is it more a miscommunication?
I would say
Talking about they saying the same thing.
Maybe. Sounds like it is. We got to do business, bro. Not everything's working out. Not sure what you mean by that, dude. It says my ex did that, didn't do anything. You know what? Let me play you the first video and we'll go from there, guys, because
okay.
this one is very interesting video of mine. And I mentioned it in my opening statement a little bit, this one.
Y'all saying pay bills or pay all the bills?
Pay bills. Pay bills. They were like, no thanks.
I don't think a lot of women are qualified for a man to pay their bills. Like, y'all don't bring enough to the table for us to pay our bills.
Oh, Lord.
They rather say I am the table than rather say than what they bring to that table.
I
So
miss when men used to protect, provide, and shut up. Protect, provide, and Nowadays, it's a
And we
whole lot
miss
of
when women
talking.
used to be feminine, fit, and
Whoa,
friendly.
whoa, whoa. But
Okay.
that last part, shut up.
Protect
Why-
your
why
body.
would we-
Shut up.
But then
don't
y'all
wanna
say
hear
we run. Y'all saying pay bills or pay all the bills?
Pay bills. Pay bills. They were like, no.
My bad. I didn't realize it started looping again. At least you want to go first with that?
Yeah, sure. One thing I want to like really point out is when they said feminine fit and what was the last thing? Feminine. When are women going to be feminine fit?
friendly.
Okay.
Feminine, fit, and friendly, I believe he
Yeah.
said. Am I right, Willie?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. In my opinion, if that's what you want from us, then I would say then you gotta provide, protect, and shut up. Because when we're doing both of those things, like I was married for 13 years, and I had to or in a relationship and then married, and I had to take care of household stuff, bills, and that. So how am I gonna feminine fit and wait? What was the last thing? Friendly. How am I going to
Yes.
worry about
Okay,
that
so
when,
the one-
when I'm the one?
The one I'm going to take out of the
Providing.
equation the fit part because everybody's body is different. You know, you had a kid, your body's not the same
Okay.
before your kid. So that's not a fair statement to be
Yeah,
honest
right.
with you. You know, the feminine part,
Okay.
I kind of agree a little bit on that because a lot of women are not feminine like they used to be. They're more like tomboyish and everything.
Yeah.
So
Like I remember
Go
when
ahead.
I was taking care of that, like I used to never be able to get stuff like that I would like to do, that I would have liked to do for myself. But if I'm worrying about providing and protecting more, then how can I get those things done for myself?
do you agree with this comment? A woman did a lot more than a man did.
Yeah.
I agree and disagree at the same time. I'll come back to that in a second. I want to give the floor to Wally. Wally, go ahead.
Mhm.
When I'm turning the floor on.
On the video.
Oh, well, pretty much like I said earlier. I mean, I already knew of the video. I already know what was said in context and everything. But she said, I just wish a man. Back in the days were the same way of you provide this and that and shut up. See, I'm going to just put this straight up. Why were the men always just paying, doing things, and then shutting up? Because again, at the end of the damn day, what more was there to be said? First and foremost, this is where it's at. This is what's done. We're living, or at least we're not on the streets per se, and then that's it.
Mhm.
What more is going to be said? What more is there going to be argued back then? Nothing. So to sit here and say, even to today's time, where you would change the narrative and say that things have changed and things have to be looked differently, for you to sit here and say, I wish it'll be like the good old days where y'all just pay bills and and shut up. What were you doing back in good old days? What were women doing back in good old days? Because if you're going to say one thing, you better be willing to do the same. Because again, if you're saying the lane has changed, then let the lane change completely. Because all this ain't the same no more, right? So look at it differently then. If you're gonna say one side is gonna change, but you're the only one to benefit where it changes for you, but don't change for the other side. No, don't reel back to good old days only on one side of the foot, and you ain't gonna do it the same way.
I think that's fair. It's a fair statement to make because it has to be both ways. Is that pretty much? Am I understanding that correctly, Wally?
That's how I'm seeing it, because there ain't no way around it. But at the same time, but it's also very demeaning as well, because it's like, this is what I'm saying. Like when we talking about do women protect men, just like if we were to just frame it off of that already lets you know women just don't give a fuck for men. This is why I go back to the cliche of saying men are from Mars, women are from Venus, but somehow we get on Earth. Somehow both of us get on Earth. How? Where was what was the original negotiation? Because apparently this has changed completely.
Where's the original contract in this?
Pretty much, because apparently somehow we got to Earth where we're both working with each other somehow. I don't know. Supposedly, just based upon that little, context. But I mean, nonetheless, it is what it is. But I just say it like this. It's just funny because I'm not gonna sit here and tell somebody, oh, do this and do that and shut up. Like that's stupid. I'm not gonna do that. They're not. That's like saying they're on the same line. Like, imagine if that was said on the other side of the flip. Come in here and shut up.
Yeah, because I wasn't a chance to watch the whole video. This is when I watched it. But when I was able to watch most of it to the point she just, you Manny just shut up. I'm like, whoa, she has some fucking balls on her ass for saying that on a stream, number 1 and 2 in public like that. Like, who the fuck you think you are? Like, what, we're machines and go, and we can't break down eventually?
I mean, it's not even just the balls. It's just the simpleness of just looking at it from a cultural lens. Because, right, it's like if you're in a particular culture, and which also aligns to a household, in most cases, yeah, you've probably seen it where you've seen your own father come into the household, hand the bills, and just be quiet and just be on his own mind frame of peace. But that's the thing, right? If you're looking at that and saying it in that way, then I'm just going to start looking at it. Do you even have respect for your own father that raised you and took care of you?
That's a good question.
So from that point, I'm not trying to hear none of that either. So in the same sense of even when it comes to women protecting men, if you were looking at it just from a standpoint of even from the point of a daughter, in what ways or shape or form, because again, protection goes a long way. It could be like, protecting your father from dealing with a scam if you understand what's being said and played. If he's about to be like a little bit off on what's being told to him or being handed off him as a deal per se, you can protect him from those things like that because he's old age. He's probably a little bit off on what he's really hearing per se, give or take. So you're always watching him back, making sure he's protected. Same thing in the healthcare industry. You're also making sure he's protected on that notion as well, making sure he stays safe from not taking certain things and precautions of that nature. So yeah, I do. I think it goes multiple ways depending on what side you're saying. Yeah, I do believe that women out here do protect men, but in the sense of other factors, it's just like it tends to be hard because, of course, of the idea of what is being presetted because of how the world or society, mostly society, how they have to portray and lock down the idea of it. But even then, even from society, from what you also elaborated, right? Even from a concept of beliefs based upon either if you're, in your political, your belief party, you're in your belief party, or just in spirituality. Looking at that from that lens, even Lord will tell you the same senses would be find peace within self amongst your own grievances, because sometimes it's not ever good to really give that to others. Let's be honest, when Jesus grieved, he didn't grieve to his pack of men his pack of people that he had within his circle. He grieved amongst self. So it's like, even regardless, women, men, you don't know who can you honestly trust when it's at the highest of the high, because most people tend to fold. But I'll leave that.
So I like Greg's comment here because he does have a good point there. But this is the old school also too. So women do a lot. Like he says, they cook 3 meals a day. They give birth. They make sure the kid, house is clean, schools up, and all that stuff. So I have Kim online. All right, guys, let me get this guy in here really fast, and we're going to continue our conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our president.
You at ease. Wrong button. There we go.
Mr. President, how are you doing tonight, my man?
Working. But
yeah. Before I have your opening statement, let's get her in here. Let's get the witch doctor in here. I got a kick out of that all the time, actually. All right, Paul. We are talking about, do women protect men tonight?
In what context?
That is the question we're trying to answer tonight.
No, but you got to frame the context here. I think on the surface, I think it's not a well-crafted question. When have women ever protected men? They may protect their sons up to a certain point until that protection becomes damaging. But I don't know if it's endemic of the species, of the sex.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand why this is something I guess I've been hearing late in this 5+ years of this manosphere space, men sort of asking for these things. But I never had that expectation. I can see certainly a mother protecting a son up until a certain age. And then at that point, he needs to, become a man. And that's where usually where a father takes over, again, 12, 13 or whatever. And it's like, you got him. And you then prepare him for that. When mothers protect, but fathers prepare. And so again, only up to a certain point is that even an issue. But if men are asking for a woman to protect them, and what I'm also hearing some sort of reciprocity, like you're upset because she won't take a bullet for you. I had this conversation with my wife 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And we already came to the conclusion she's not taking a bullet for me. She's just not. Because that's not how most women are built. Most women are not going to take a bullet, stand in front for their man and take a bullet. I don't think that's what they were made for. That's not what they're designed for. If that were the case, that your husband goes to war, you would follow right after him. And when the military artillery is shooting at him, you stand in front of your husband. That's just not how generally things work. But there are, if you want to talk about it more generally, more passively, I think there's certainly things that a woman can do to protect an adult man, particularly her husband. And part of that is simply, one, creating an environment that keeps him out of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So if a man has more of a desire to be home rather than being outside in the world, chasing after things that may be unhealthy for them, then yeah, that's a form of protection. It's not direct, but it's certainly much more of an indirect sort of thing. But having an environment where he can live in peace at home, where he desires to want to be around, and if anything, create an environment where he wants to be the protector. I think that is really where it's at. So I think that's really the if there is going to be a form of protection, that would be it. So yeah, mothers protect sons, but after that, to expect them to do for a grown adult man, not in a forward sense like what I'm hearing so far. I just and it's interesting. Now someone's mentioning here spiritual protection. It's interesting to me because I actually looked this up. There is not one verse in the Bible where a wife prayed for her husband. Not one. Look it up. There's not one verse, not one example. You look at all the women in the Bible, I never heard one. There's not one verse where a woman prayed for her husband. Now, what is in the scriptures, and you get this, I believe it's out of, might get this wrong, I believe it's out of 1 Peter, that basically it is important for the man to live and do well by his wife, because if he doesn't, then God will not hear your prayers. That's in the scriptures. But I've never heard any, and I'm not saying it's wrong or a wife shouldn't pray for a husband. I'm not saying that. But it seems like just from what I'm seeing in scripture, the expectation is that the man is supposed to be the head. The man is supposed to be have certain roles, and women have certain roles in a supportive sense for a husband. Now, if you want to say that's protection, if you want to say certainly watch my back, if you want to say, look, you're good at the finances, right? So you handle the finances, that's a form of protection because, I can then focus on other matters. Or, you might be good at, like, say, we're at a function or we're at an engagement, you might be good at discernment. Mm-hmm. And I might be looking at a situation one way, and then we talk later on and be like, hey, this is what I'm feeling from this. And again, if I trust your counsel, then again, that you could look at that as a form of protection. But again, it's passive. It's not like, hey, let me stand in the middle here and let me do this. Again, generally speaking, and there's always going to be exceptions. There's always going to be situations. If your husband's disabled and you have to be in that situation where you are the provider and you're doing a lot of things to take care of your husband, yeah, that's a sense. But generally speaking, this question, I don't think is necessarily a one that's going to have a lot of application to most women. That's not necessarily what they were built for. So unless it's a special circumstance or situation, I don't see how it has some sort of value. But yeah, but anybody who prays to God, if you have a relationship with God, it's not just going to be for just your family. It's any situation that you're in. So like I said, I think praying for your spouse, just like vice versa, I think, yeah, that's a good thing. But you're not providing necessarily anything that hasn't been provided before. So again, I guess that's my initial 2 cents. We can sort of delve and get deeper, but I just want to really, like I said, tackle that spiritual question because again, show me a verse in the Bible where a woman's praying for her husband. It's not there. I've seen books. I've seen people talk about it later on. You got women women ministers who come out with books on the power of a praying wife and all these sort of things. You won't find a specific example in the scriptures of someone doing it, of a woman doing that for her husband. It just doesn't happen. I've seen women pray to God, for example, I think one of the prophets, his wife couldn't have any kids. She prayed to God that she can have kids. I think it was Samuel's mom. I forget her name, but I think it was in 1 Samuel. His wife was, the guy had, I think, 2 wives, and the one wife couldn't have a son or whatever, and she prayed feverishly to God. And she basically said, "If you give me a son, I'll give him back to you." And when he became weaned, he got raised at the temple. She prayed for a son, and it's interesting because the husband was like, "Look, don't I treat you better than multiple sons?" And that wasn't enough. She said she wanted a son. So it didn't even matter what the husband was providing, or that she was even grateful that she had a husband to provide. She wanted a son, and she prayed for him in that particular story. So no, I don't think it's something that that I haven't heard this kind of talk. I'll say this until YouTube. I just haven't.
All right, Mariana, you're up.
Okay.
You're next.
What is that?
No, I let David know he's next after you.
Okay. Why women protect men? That's the topic. I would say it's a yes and no, to be honest, because women are not designed to protect men. I will say the only time, let's say, if God forbid you come across of a situation like, let's say somebody slandering or saying something bad to the person, it could be in different perspective. It could be husband, could be boyfriend, it could be, could be someone that's dear to you, relative, friend, whatever the case is. Of course, you could have the right to speak up, to say, to defend the ones to care, or you could just ignore it because it's not worth your time. But women are not designed to protect men. Like, it's more like in a verbal sense, I will say, because the last thing we need, you don't need to have like a cat fight over something. I hate to say it. We're not, yeah. But and it's yeah, because it's very hard. I mean, we have to, in order to protect the family. If you're like, if you're married, that's different, because you have to you have to protect each other. But man is more in charge. So
Nah. Sorry.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Let David go next, and then you're up, Greg. Okay, you're next after David.
I ain't gonna lie. When I heard about the title, you asked Peter, I walked out because that's the very touchy subject. And when my big brother
David,
here.
hang on 1 second. If this is gonna affect you emotionally, it's okay.
No,
to
no,
step
no, no. It's not gonna affect me emotionally, but I will
Okay,
speak
so
on
I
it.
don't want you to get fucked up in the head.
I don't want. No, I'm doing my best, and I'm glad my big brother here.
If it makes you
Paul
feel
Bear-
better, I'll have Paul give you a big kiss.
Now you go trigger. Now you go trigger me right now.
Hmm.
Craig, look, see what I'm doing with right here, Craig. See what I got to do with when I come on panel with him. Anyway, I'm gonna shout out to Mr. Paul Bennett. I'm glad he pointed on things out because from a Bible nerd, I searched the Bible myself, and there's never been a scripture that said the woman have prayed for her husband or woman praying for her husband. But shout out to George Meyer who tackled that issue 7 times over, and she said, even though you don't find it, the Bible talk about order, structure. There's God, there's man, correct. But women do have a place in the house whereby they're supposed to be the one who have to foresight to see from behind wherever that coming to either hurt or barricade her husband's progress. Now, being a black church for most of my life, growing up in my Africa, that have been a stigma. Tell women about their position in the household at a family. It felt as if it's conditioned they should do. But a man role is unconditional. Why I try not to get emotional. I try and be logical and technical about it. And the way I look at these things, I'll put it like this. When you explained it to a woman about their role, their benefits, and what kind of level of power they have within the dynamic of take that thing for granted. I can say I've never been protected by a woman. I'm always the one who's protecting the woman. Ever they don't deserve protection to begin with. Sometimes I will beat myself up behind closed. They deserve it. What you do for that person, they're never great.
All
And
right.
that's how to dig in and try to look at how all women are the same, which I told you. Protect their man. But they do it in a way they know where their power lies at. Not always you have to jump in the front of the man, but they do it in a way whereby, for example, I've seen a lot of podcasts have talked about this, and this have been addressed. In society, there are most women who want men to, how you want to say, probably you know this mindset back in the 80s and the 90s, step up to the plate and fight for their, got the terminology they want to use, like in case a man trying to disrespect them. Hey, you gonna let that happen? You know what I'm talking about, father? When they want a man to be a knight of shining armor. Common sense reality. If you're a woman of virtue, something that you know they could lead to problem with your husband, particularly if woman of virtue, you'll say, husband, let's take a different direction. That's how you protect your man. You'll be the one that want to prevent that person from getting into it. I'll be there long enough for you. Today's society, you have more women that sending men to jail. Far more than say, honey, not worth it, let's go. That's women protection. To blow a gasket. No, it's not. Fight for him to keep on waiting in blood. But no, don't calm down. That's protection. Don't see that much often. Yeah, whoop his ass. That's what I see more often. The one I saw on the next level that only a few Christian movies have been out there. I know Mr. probably remember this movie called The War Room. A Christian movie, but we're showing how.
Actually, I never saw it. And actually, I have a thing. I don't watch a lot of Christian films. That's a thing with me. But that's another story altogether. That's
Okay,
another conversation.
we will have this debate.
That's like a Tyler Perry movie to me. But go ahead though.
Sorry, I don't
Boy.
watch Christian films either. Sorry.
I want to have that
I was
debate with
Christian when I was younger, but I was
Yeah.
never. I'm not a God believer. I'm sorry, but I'm not.
So
Mm.
on that note,
I
I
don't
will
have
deal
any
with Mr.
problems with it at all.
So
Yeah,
on that
matter
note,
of
I will
fact, a
deal
lot
with
of my
Mr. Bennett
friends
and
believe in
behind
God.
closed door on that. But the movie would speak about how a woman protect her husband through her personal prayer behind closed door without nobody constantly put her husband favor on the top of their asking God, make sure, please don't let him go down this route. You don't find a lot of women who walk with a level of virtue, can tell from a distance. This is why character is key. It was taught back in Mr. Bennett days or further down the line. But of the yesteryears are not the same as the women of today's. Have the segregation thing going on. There was a certain group have the elder women teaching the younger generation how to conduct themselves, how to carry themselves, and how to walk. Here go my debate brother. He understand that logic. So
All right, David. Let's get Greg in here. Then we have Sean to go next. Go ahead,
all
Greg.
To be honest with you, the young lady was speaking earlier on. I was trying to remember what she was saying, but my brain's gone completely blank. It really has. That's why I was trying to figure out what she was trying to say and reply to what she was saying. And then, as I said, I've completely forgot what she said. Sorry, miss, but I actually forgot what you
Okay.
said.
I say that women protect men. I say it's yes and no. And don't I say that women are not like physically not to protect. It's usually the men are to protect, the woman.
Right. Yes and no to the last part.
Yes.
Women, no, they're not strong enough because they don't have what's it the men that have that women don't have? It's the strength.
The strength.
Right.
Physical.
Right, whatever it's called. I just call it strength, right?
Okay.
It's not the fact of is it right or is it wrong if a woman should protect their man. It's more instinct that a woman protects her other half. It's like protecting your children.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I look at it. Right? My other half's done it to me multiple times living here. All right? I've been in a lot of danger because I've actually put myself there sometimes, but she's stuck up and got in between me and people and that. Not through because she has to, it's instinct.
Okay.
If you know what I mean.
Mhm.
All right. That's what I was trying to get at. Sorry, that's what I was trying to say to you earlier.
The only pushback I do have on that, brother, and it's nothing against what you're saying or anybody else on the panel, is not everybody's like that. Like I know Mariana personally.
No,
it's
agree.
Mariana, but I don't think you're gonna jump
I agree
right.
with you. I agree, Sparta. I agree with Mr. Whatever you want to call him. I agree with you. My mum went through 2 relationships that were violent. Yeah. And my mum never actually used the instincts to protect her own kids. Yeah. And her last partner actually went for me, my younger brother, and my older brother. And my mum never used the instinct to protect us. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And her last partner before that, her actual partner before her ex one she broke up with, actually tried to kill my mother with a knife, but the dog got in the way. Yeah. That one's another story for another day. It's slightly funny as well, even though it's wrong, if you know what I mean. It's funny, but it's not. It's funny, but it's not. Screw it, I'll tell you. Our dog, yeah, it was a golden retriever. Yeah, family dog. We had him since he was 6 months old. His original name was Teddy Bear. You ever heard of the movie Full Monty?
No.
You never heard of it? The Full Monty. It's
came out a while ago, but I think I remember it.
yeah, it was 2000. Back in 2000, around about that time. Anyway,
Right.
it's an English movie where a bunch of guys start standing up on stage and get completely naked. You don't see nothing, but they get up on stage and get completely naked. So, and literally the film is called The Full Monty. If you ever look it up on the trailer on it, you'll see what I mean. But anyway,
Okay.
when that movie came out, we decided to call our dog Monty. Several years later, my mum met this guy called Ron, and he was crazy. He went for me a lot, went for my mum a lot, tried to kill my mother with a knife. Monty came in. Monty got the brunt of it, got stabbed in the lung, and had to rush him to the vets. Wouldn't settle down. The anaesthetic that he was under wouldn't let it kick in until he came home. So he had to literally get my auntie to come and pick us up at flaming 3 o'clock in the morning to go and pick the dog up to bring him home, so the anaesthetic would actually kick in to help him relax, if you know what I mean. Long story, it's just funny-ish. Crazy dog though. Sorry, I was trying to make you laugh.
The only thing I want to say to you, brother, is I'm sorry you went through that. If you need to talk, we're all here.
Oh no, it's fine. Everything's fine. It's old hat. I don't speak to him. I haven't spoken to him or seen them any of those guys for 2 years. I haven't spoken to my mum for 2 years myself. But there's personal reasons I don't talk to my mother.
That's fine.
But I'm happy. I've currently got my current wife. She's sitting there, lovely lady. She hates being on camera, but she'll probably whip my ass later. But yeah, she's been a rock to me for 13 years. You saw my message earlier on, didn't you? Spartus, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, you saw my message earlier on. She's been my rock. She's been brilliant to me. But with women and men, women, it should be give and take on a relationship.
I agree 100%.
That should be how it should be. Yeah, a woman should give 50%. Bloke should give 50% to get 100% for the relationship to work. Okay. I can't think of anything else to say. My brain's gone off. Sorry. It's like nearly 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, man.
Sorry.
Appreciate you being here, brother.
Hey, cool.
We're gonna get you on a gray area one day and have a serious conversation with you, like on a Sunday show.
Brilliant.
All right. Do me a favor. Put your email in the back chat so we can keep in contact and stuff, or look up on Facebook. Either one.
Do you guys use WhatsApp at all?
I don't.
Well, I am on Facebook. I am on Facebook. Yeah, you see my name, you'll see me on Facebook.
All right, I'll look you right now. Sean Peacock, my man, what's going on?
What's going down? How's everybody doing today?
All right.
We're good. We're good. You're up. We got on this, my man.
What's the question?
The topic tonight is: do women protect men?
That's a good question. Are they able to? Yes. Do they regularly do? No. Unless they have some type of stake in that man, whether it be, relative, spouse, child, good friend, then they might, protect and or try to protect. I think they should more often, specifically against other women, because they regularly will see something something being done to a man and will not regularly stand up for it. Yet the expectation sometimes is that if a man sees something, another man violating a woman, that whether you know them or not, he should stand up for her because she's a woman, especially if the violation is another man, which I understand and I can embrace that concept. But I think that in fairness, that should be reciprocated, especially when it comes to how women so often violate. I was just looking at something online a couple of days ago where a woman was just being very violating the man entirely, and the women who were standing around watching did not step to the woman whatsoever, but they did step to the man once the man started to retaliate. Oh no, you can't put your hand, starting to protect that woman. Oh no, you can't do that. The woman was literally physically um, hitting the man, violating the man, being disrespectful verbally initially. It then grew into where she was physically abusing the man, and the man was just taking it until he couldn't take it any longer, and he retaliated. And then all of the women who were standing around wanted to jump in and say, "Oh no, you can't do that to a woman. She's a woman. She's a woman." Meanwhile, when it was the other way around, she didn't. And I think that women should reverse that and really hold other women accountable. Not saying to get involved physically in the same way. I wouldn't suggest men always getting involved physically in quarrels like that. But this was not a lover's quarrel. What I was referring to, it was actually somebody in a store, and two people in the store that didn't know one another. But the point is that no, I don't believe women naturally is in this day and age protect men. Not even in a sense of a mother at times protecting her son when it comes to her son's girlfriend. For example, if the boyfriend is not being, let's say he's not being faithful to his girlfriend, often a mother would bring up and or challenge the son, or even expose the son's behavior in order to secure the sentiments or the feelings of his girlfriend, which I don't agree that you should be disingenuous or you should be lying or unfaithful in a relationship. Nor do I agree that if you are, it needs to be exposed by your mom and or anyone else. That's something between the two of them. And if asked, perhaps, but often without asking, they will, because of how they feel about it, or some type of situation they might have been through, will expose, well, you might want to do better, hint around to it, or even directly say, well, he's no good anyway. You might want to think about getting, and that's just to me the an example of where, and sometimes where women do not protect men, even when it's their own son.
All right, I want to play a video really fast for you guys. Here it is.
We do need men, though. We do.
We don't need them because
We do.
No, because they're lesbians.
Who do you call to get your car fixed? A man or a woman? Your toilet breaks down. Who do you call?
So I fix my own car. I can do. I'm motor mechanics.
Your power supply. Who runs it? Who runs the infrastructure of society? Men or women?
Oh, at the moment, men. Obviously,
Yeah,
because of
so
patriarchy. Because of patriarchy.
Oh no.
But
We
so
do
whatever
need
you-
men, though.
So who wants to go first?
That's funny. I'll jump in. That's the hypocrisy that continues on. The the mere fact that a woman can think that she doesn't need a man, for some of the reasons that Pearl was describing, it's just the icing or the tip of the iceberg. You know, there's several scenarios. Now, in fairness, I believe men need women as well. A woman's job is to bring balance to a man. A man's job is to bring balance to a woman. And I think that we forget our roles and our jobs, and therefore we feel that we can do without. And I don't think that without either one of us fare better. I think that with, and I'll put in quotations, good women and men uh, with one another, they definitely bring balance and bring and complement each other for the differences that they do have.
All right. And I agree. Dave, go ahead.
I'm gonna have fun with this.
Yeah,
that
boy.
video, that video. If I want to show that video, okay, let's go about it. Who fixed your car? They say a woman does that. Okay. Who fixed your plumb? They claim women do it. Okay, fine. Fix your electricity and take the wire get damaged. They think women do it. Okay, fine. Who built your house? Who connect your internet service and other utilities to get done? Working on the road in case there's a bust pipe that affect multiple homes.
Who built the road?
Who built the road? Who built the highway? Who climbed the high? I ain't gonna call it 120 tower pole and do the type of crazy ass job, knowing a one slight mishap and they not harnessed to what they need to harness. Like, let's be real here. I have seen the argument on podcasts. I've seen the buffoonery that goes on. Anyone that in STEM, which is science, technology, maths,
Engineering.
from civil engineering to mechanical engineering to computer engineering, all type of version of engineering. From middle school to high school and to college, we don't see a drove of women watching to get into these programs. On every construction site that I see in New York City, what is the demographic of these people who are climbing up these buildings, fixing themselves? Because I used to be a security guy at one point in time at a construction site in Manhattan on West 17, and I walk up the area and I look at places where they had to harden themselves to the beam and work on these things. In doing such thing. And when they say they don't need a man, in present society, what nation, what company do they know is fully run by women on the STEM side of things? I've never seen a full woman construction company that build a house from ground to top or any type of commercial building from ground to top or doing any of the dangerous jobs. Now I see maybe about 1 to 2% women that join the men on the oil rig. I've seen that part. I've seen 2 to 3% of women who join the merchant marine, whereby they're on tankers. Not that many. But if I keep on hearing this BS about they don't need a man, then it's about time we start to put them to the test. Build your all woman society, build your own utility company, your own construction company, and you are not allowed to contact no man for the next 2 years, even though you're about to give up the ghost. No man should help your ass. And what you? Not one woman will sign up for that type of program. But you give them a good acre of land and you shut them off. I can figure that one out. By the time you come back, no disrespect, you got to bring a bunch of body bags. Cover your nose for the smell. Moving a lot of what out of there. So let's stop the BS. I'm just at the nerd when I find people trying to be stupid. I try not to disrespect them to the point whereby I want to take their soul. I used to be that vicious person. Think you got a mouth. I'm the one your mom, your aunt will warn you stay away from me. Because I will kill you, I will roast you, I will decimate you until you break before my eye, and I'm not gonna let it go until you beg me. This is why I'm not trying to be what I'm being technical about here, because that video, yes, it is triggering, it's freaking annoying me. But it has proved a level of buffoonery and stupidity that have gone beyond the Richter scale. It got to a point whereby I'm not trying to be funny, because remember how did they shoot a man or the bear? Now I'm going to the point where why not say between a woman or shoot a monkey from the zoo? Which one is better? And I'm doing a logic because monkey used for science. At least you can train a monkey to do something good. Can't train a bear to do anything. So if I want to disrespect all the women, remember this face. If you debate me out,
I want to cut you off a second.
Go ahead.
Because remember a while back we did a show, do women need men in their lives? Remember that a while back we did that show?
Mm-hmm.
And back then I didn't have Alicia or Marianne on here, so I want to re-answer that question really fast. Do women need men in their lives? And I want to say yes, you guys do need them, because a lot of things we do on a daily basis. I'm not talking about cooking, like I am one of the best chefs in the area, but that's a different story. It's like mechanics. Are you going, Alicia? Let's be honest here. I don't see you changing a tire. Do you even know how to change a tire?
Nope. I don't even know what half is stuff going on in my car.
No, Jesus Christ. You're hopeless sometimes.
I'm grateful for my father, who is definitely a provider, protector, and is there for me for anything and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also grateful for male friends, as I do have my mindset changed from when I was in a very toxic relationship, and all the guy kept saying to me is, "You need me. You will never survive without me."
Well, Marianne, Alicia, I'm not trying to knock on you, but you do have a habit of leaving your gas tank going on E.
And going where?
E, your gas tank.
Oh yeah. No, I thought you meant leaving your guests. I'm like, what? But you said gas tank.
No. But and that is a good example tonight, because think about it, guys. It's like you do need mechanics, you need electricians, you need a construction guy. Your father, a good example, Alicia, is in construction.
Yeah, like
at least he was. He's retired now, obviously.
Yeah, but I need people helping me with boxes. I need a man fixing stuff for me that I can't do.
Yeah. Marianne, what about you? Do you think you need a man in your life?
Yes, I will say most definitely. I mean, a lot of stuff that I mean, there's no way a woman could do it. Like electrician, it's always gonna be a guy doing it. 95%.
Not always. I seen women mechanics.
Yeah, they have it. I mean, they
rare.
Very rare. Yeah, very rare. From also construction. Mostly. I mean, you probably have one, but not too often, as I say. But
again, it's rare. Like I said, it's rare.
Yeah, rare. So, yeah, you definitely like. women do need men. I mean, I do need men when it comes to fix things that I don't have no knowledge whatsoever. Stuff that, something that's not, that I'm not gonna mess with. Like whatever the case is, sometimes if something, let's say if a fuse go off, like of course I'm gonna have to have a electrician to come by. But other than that, it's also, in overall sense, also for protection. I mean, it's not only in everyday life, yes, but also, it has to be reciprocate. Like men and women had to like protect each other, the way I look at it. But yeah,
Let me ask you, women, another question. Catch 22. I'm gonna get back on topic. So
Okay.
let's say you're in a war zone, right?
Mhm.
And you see a 15-year-old boy, all right, but he's about to shoot one of your comrades, one of your team members, whatever. All right, you're in a war. Are you able to pull that trigger and put him down?
Yes.
You think you'd be able to shoot that kid?
No. I'd be crying.
Mariana, what do you think?
Well, the thing is, in order to protect my comrades, probably I will not aim directly, but more like, I don't know, I hate to say it, shoot towards the foot. If I'm lucky to, I mean, I think it's
He's
very
still on the
hard.
foot. It does. See, if you shoot him in the foot, he's still combat capable. I'm saying
Yeah.
take him down completely.
Yeah. It's hard. A 15-year-old kid. Like
I don't think I could.
Yeah, that's almost, my God.
It's
This
the
is a
same
tricky
age.
question. Yeah.
Sorry, it's the same age as my son. I think I would be too emotionally attached.
And you have a good point there, Alicia. So the argument statement with that was, I had somebody argue with me, said, "Oh, women can be infantry." I'm like, I disagree with that completely.
I'd be crying. I totally was. I'm a very emotional person.
I agree. I don't see you ever pulling the trigger.
Yeah. I'd be
So-
a mess emotionally.
Yeah,
I don't think I could handle it.
and that's one of the things. So, anybody else have anything on this before we move on?
Just want to maybe give a little bit of clarity too, because I know I've heard that I certainly agree that certainly the world is run by men and men have built the world. And I think the woman who was speaking there, I think she's simply projecting that on what she can do, or she's talking in absolutes. But the practical reality is that yes, men are required in this world. Now she wants to blame it on the patriarchy or whatever, but these days nothing is stopping women from taking on these jobs. So I think it's a specious argument at best. But I do want to, because I did look up a little bit as far as the STEM fields and whatnot. Women are in STEM, and I think that's something we need to stop. In this, I looked at Pew Research. I'm looking at global statistics. Got about 35 to 45% of women are in STEM fields. They are. So I mean, this idea that women don't care about STEM or you can't find women. Women are in these fields. That doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to go out and build a road or a dam or do a lot of the physical things, but they are in STEM. So I don't know how this trope, again, this is the manosphere talking that women aren't in STEM. You have a lot of women who are in STEM. I've heard guys talk about, less than 10% of women are in STEM. It's not true. Even globally, as far as women enrolled in college, 35% are in STEM. So I think that's, I just want to clear it up, but I just don't want to keep repeating these same tropes and whatnot that people want to spin out that women don't want to do these fields. They are in these fields. In the U.S., a lot of the engineering schools, it's up to 50% of women are in these fields. So I think let's debate, but let's speak truth at the same time.
Let me add to that. Yes, there's a huge number of women in the medical field. That's a given. There is an increasing number of women joining the IT realm. That is correct. But I'm pointing out it's the type of job that is outside the white collar job when it comes to STEM. Now, as for manufacturing, there have been a steady number have been keeping that pace within the manufacturing auto industry. Well, totally correct. But the job that I'm speaking of, I'm talking about construction jobs. Talking about the jobs that are more outdoor, whereby it's more risky at hand. The numbers is different. Now, when you go from different area, you totally correct. There's an increasing large number of women joining the STEM program, but in what area? You know that it's
Right, but
it's
and
heavy
I
in the
and,
medical
I would say
field.
and I would say it's for 5 years.
I know you hear it. I
Sandy
hear
used
it
to
too.
say this stuff all the time. Again, that women aren't in STEM. They are in STEM.
And that's why I'm very naughty about it. I tell be specific. I mentioned the medical field. They're heavy. That's under STEM. And the story. The IT realm. You and I both IT
Yeah,
specialists.
accounting. I mean, it's
Accounting,
math is
yeah,
part of it, right? So that would
it's
be
not a part of it.
accounting.
And
Yeah,
I
I mean
get
that's
that.
yeah.
This is why I talk about. Remember when they say all men? I always come on the panel and say, "What group of men are you referring to?" Because as a nerd, I got tired of the doofus who don't pay attention to the English class and use proper English language. You want to debate your point, be more specific about it. Like you just said, be more. And I mentioned what area they are heavy in. Which is totally correct. That under the white collar, which is more indoor. Anything more outdoor is considered to be a detour to them. What I have noted, because living in New York City, I actually do a security job in Manhattan, and I've been a lot around too many security sites where they have a lot of construction going on. And what are the demographics I see coming in and out? Very well, you see a woman construction worker who will climb up the high rise, put on the harness, buckle herself, and do the type of thing that most men are doing. That is very, very rare. They're pushing for it. Yes, that is very, very true. Problem is, what it requires for them to do those type of jobs is why I said this is why people in the military talked about this. They lowered the standard for the women because the women is not the same as men. Yeah, the military standard for be drafted into the military to be at a certain level on both ends, but they know men body conditioning is not the same as women body conditioning, which I totally get the sign behind it. Which I'm not trying to be contradictory. That is me.
Mhm.
But this is why I point out the obvious and I speak on the specifics. Correct. Because for one, I would like to see more construction workers who are more women. I'll let you know, okay, they stepping up to the plate. So they want to do what men do. That is great. But you and I both know in IT, most are more into the developer side where it's more
Oh,
for
absolutely,
them.
absolutely.
They're not willing to be behind the part whereby we yanking out 100, 200, 300-pound server from the rack, which I have done many a time, whereby we didn't have the lever. And me being a big ass African gorilla, sometimes they had to put a 200-pound server on my knee and slide it into the rack because they didn't have the strength so they won't hurt their back. And sometimes when I lose my cool and they're taking too long, I will put it down, growl like an angry black gorilla, lift that bad boy, slide it in, and everybody look at me like, okay, he lost his cool. No, duh. That's taking too long. It's hurting my knee. I know I'm strong, but this is a side of me that you don't see when I'm working behind the scenes doing IT. I could be really grouchy when things is not going at a timely manner. I gotta pull a 800-pound K worth of old machine that we replaced do a window migration, and I jam my finger by accident. I will lift the K and just shove it off out of anger. Yeah, that is me. I'm not gonna treat no woman gonna lift a 800-pound cage full of electronics. Not happening. They're not built the same. That's why I say I'm more of a bear paw or a gorilla. Choose one. Like I say, choose your poison. But when you come to women protecting men, the only women can protect men by protecting themselves from put me in a sense of then whereby I don't think women understand this. When you are a woman of virtue, true woman of virtue can calm the beast in a man in a way that no other person can. I am an undercover, almost uncontrollable beast when I lose my temper. I'm the kind I don't mind slamming an 800-pound dude as many times as possible so I can get the joy out of it. I miss being in my rage. But I'm happy at best. I can take out all the anger and the frustration. Know who can stop that from happening? A virtue.
Yeah. I mean, I think the point was raised earlier about kind of what you're saying, you know, as far as women protecting a man from, or actually women today, they're more like, you need to go and kick his butt. That seems to be more the norm than not. And everybody remembers a few years ago, everybody remembers the Will Smith situation with Chris Rock, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
The slap, right? So again,
that one right there, that Will Smith situation, I laugh about it because that was very unnecessary. That's one. Two, I used to say that what would another African person you would slap that? Woodman would have got an ass kick right there.
right. But before it even got there, my point is, we talking about protecting men, right?
Hmm?
All she would have had to do and be like, nah, baby, not here.
She would have protected him.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm confirming your point that you have a lot of women who would say, let's say if you're at a party at a club or something like that, and a guy makes a pass at your wife, or he smacks your wife in the butt or whatever. Now, keep in mind, he may have a posse of dudes with him. Now, you could be of such where, okay, you want to take on the entire club. Now, what is your woman going to do in that situation? Is she going to say, that dude smacked me on my butt, you need to go and whip his behind? Or would she say, babe, we need to go? What is the act of protection in that particular situation? And I see a lot of women who would want to have their man fight somebody and risk arrest or injury or a whole host of things just in order to protect your honor.
That one's quite easy.
What's
Sorry.
that, sir?
If I was to protect Nikki's honor, it would have to be a guy trying it on with her, putting her down, slapping her, or even trying to feel her up.
Mm-hmm.
That would be me trying to defend her honor.
Okay, but so situation. Okay, so you're in a, and I'm not going to go to those extreme examples. You're at a pub. You're with your wife. You're hanging out or whatever. A guy comes up. He makes a pass at your wife or whatever, or he smacks her on the butt or whatever. Now you get into a fight with the guy. You get arrested. You go to jail. Whatever the situation falls. Now you're not there to protect your wife from whatever else or whomever else may come in that situation. So you have to ask yourself, is that protect? I can certainly get the visceral. I would have a very visceral reaction if someone accosted my wife. But the situation,
in my other half's case, she can actually defend herself.
Right.
No word of a lie. She could.
Right. Well, I'm saying, but would she be protecting you if she said, that guy touched me, you need to beat him up? Is that protecting you?
But if it's too much for her, yes, I would. But she would put the guy on his backside. She literally would. She's done it to me many times. She's literally done it to me many times.
I would love to see. Right.
She's an MMA
but that's a different situation. But I'm saying, but if she told you, oh, you need to kick this guy's butt because he did this to me, is that protection? Is she protecting you in that situation?
No.
Okay. So that's what I'm saying. But a lot of that energy is with a lot of women now, where they'll be so in their feelings about this situation, not looking at the long term. Again, it's playing. You can do a checker move, but this is a chess move.
My other half would just literally say to me either she would
And-
try
and-
and deal with it herself, or she would try and get out of the situation and leave the pub.
Yeah, there you
And
go.
here's the thing: I've seen past videos that have been reported on the news whereby a woman
I'll
pushed
be right
a
back.
man to fight for her honor, not realizing there was a gang of men ready to jump that guy. And while he was getting beat up, I'm sure she got a phone. Did she call 911 to protect? She was telling the man fight back. Like, okay, you want a man to fight back against 9 other people? Really? There's sometimes men even see from a distance, they see a group of guys walking down the street, right? And they want to cross the other two to avoid that. Women say, well, we ain't crossing for them. I'm like, you. And this is what I'm seeing among the ethnic community who are, Mr. Paul be laughing, but Mr. Paul Bennett, this is what a lot of young guys have been complaining about. Especially they're coming from New York City or from Chicago or all the heavy black denominated neighborhood. That's the mess that I see on the street. There to be a time right there, hang out late night and watch how people conduct themselves on the street, and you see the shenanigan. And I'll be looking at it like, why should a man risk their life for such woman? Why? Why? And we
It's
saw
just,
on the news.
David,
And we saw on. I know.
it's
We
just
saw
the
on
way you. It's just the way you said that.
I know. It's funny, but that's the expression. You saw on the news for the past 2 or 3 years how women want to set men up. Oh, I'll get my brother come, but didn't
All right,
get
guys.
in the way.
So let's start getting our final thoughts in, and let's wrapping this up slowly. So
Let Sean speak. So I think he was trying to get.
I'm sorry. So go ahead, Sean. You want to go first?
Yeah, all I was going to say is, Bennett, I don't know if you was on there, but a while ago, a couple of years ago, maybe a few, Mr. Letgo had posed that question to a bunch of men. And ironically, he made a very valid point. He said, who are you really protecting when you do that? Are you protecting your woman? If they, let's say they didn't, they just said, yo, your woman looks good in front of you. They didn't put hands on her like you suggested, but they just did something inappropriate as far as said, who are you protecting? Are you protecting your woman? Or are you protecting your ego? And I really had to fall back and reevaluate
Sorry,
that.
can I get you to repeat that? I didn't catch that last bit. Sorry.
I said, are you protecting your woman or are you protecting your ego?
Your ego.
Because to protect your woman was the point they made. You are supposed to make sure you both get home safely, that she doesn't get home and have to worry about calling the cops or a hospital or a morgue, depending on the circumstances or your reactions to something that really wasn't that inappropriate. Like I said, it was where they didn't put hands on. But let's just say hands on is a different scenario that we can argue. But let's just say similar to the smack that we just the slap when he said something and Jada didn't like it. That's the same thing if we didn't like something that another guy said and we went out and just flipped out because of it or acted out because of it. The real, as you were saying earlier, the real thing is what happens. Now you done made it to where your woman either got to get bail money, she got to call morgue because something happened to you. She got to take you to a hospital or take somebody else to a hospital or do something that is not in protection of her. Now it's an inconvenience to her and you as well, simply because you didn't react. You didn't have emotional balance to react in a mature way. So, that's definitely something that I had to reevaluate because your instinct will tell you, your ego will tell you, man, I'm going to knock him out. I'm going to hurt him and flip out and going to go against the whole club. But your common sense in hindsight, it's like flipping on somebody because they stepped on your shoe.
Mhm.
I always used to use that example. I don't want to be locked up and have to think, well, what you in here for? Well, somebody stepped on my shoe and I flipped out on them and blah 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 blah. I'm gonna feel like an asshole.
Mhm.
I'm just straight up. If I'm gonna be locked up, I'd rather be something that I can say I will do again, and I don't have no concern on no repercussions on why I did it. But if somebody stepped on my shoe, a $35 pair of shoe, and I flipped out, and I'm now possibly losing my job, losing my time, of course, have to losing money because I gotta pay stuff. That's foolish of me. That's
Yeah.
just my ego just running rampant. And we need to get a better emotional maturity when we're in that predicament and don't know how to address that properly.
Mhm.
All right, let's start getting our final thoughts. Alicia, you want to go first?
Sure. So after like hearing more and more from everybody's thoughts and what they have to add, I did more thinking about this topic. And as I said, do I think that women can protect men? Yes, but also I think it's in different ways. Like, do I think I can protect a man physically? No, but I definitely can be there emotionally, mentally, and there in other ways. Like such as my job, I'm like a case manager. I'm a case manager for mental health, addictions. So I feel like I'm there for men and women in my job, but also it's protecting in different ways. And I do there are men that men are needed in my life to protect me in their ways.
Yeah, this actually turned out to be a pretty good conversation. I really liked how this went. And yeah, I mean, can women protect men? I think yes, but not in the reciprocal ways that I'm hearing in a lot of these YouTube spaces. The idea that I think certainly a man with his emotions, to cover his back, to make sure that the man is exuding the best of what he can be, not putting him in compromising situations where he has to react in a particular situation. So if you out acting a fool and he has to step up to protect you, but why put him in that situation to begin with? I think covering a guy where he might be lacking in certain areas, like I said, he may not be the greatest at the math or the accounting or keeping the books, but you are. I think that's a form of protection also. I think protecting his heart in that he can confide in you and share his innermost thoughts and feelings. That's a protective sort of place where he can express himself and and shed off the mask that he might be putting out there to the world and having to wear this toughness, but he could be tender. Because again, men are not just physical brutes, and we're not just tender. We have emotions, we have feelings, we love, we hurt, all those sort of things. So again, that could be a form of protection also. I think in general, I talked about creating an environment where the man wants to be home, wants to be with you. I think that keeps him from vices and temptations out there that would otherwise harm you in the end. And also look at it this way: why you should protect is because, again, that is, in a lot of ways, that's your investment. That is a part of you. You're going to be impacted. If he's not right, it's going to come back on you one way or the other. So it's in your interest to make sure that he's protected or or taken care of in certain ways, because that protects in the end your back. So yeah, so I think they can certainly protect, but again, the ways in which they do it are not, and I don't think they've ever been meant in mass to be the same. But unfortunately, like I said, in these spaces, I've been hearing guys request things of women that I never would have heard of 20, 25 years ago. And I think that's just a sign of kind of where a lot of guys are. And I think that's a conversation as well.
Well, this is an interesting topic. I'm glad we talk about this topic. This is that women will protect men in more like an emotional sense, and and protect their dignity, like meaning you're not gonna like slander somebody that you care for. On a physical sense, it's impossible. I mean, and not impossible, but more like you don't want to throw yourself and get caught or God forbid get arrested, whatever the case is. So it's crucial. It's better off use words wisely to defend the men that you care, and also do not have a like altercation or argue. And the next thing you need to be, I hate to say it because everybody have phones and you film. The last thing you need is arguing for trying to protect your man. So there's no need for that. So yeah, I mean, women have to be more in control with their emotions, but don't let the emotions run wild. If you really are, if you care and protect, you're gonna care and protect, but just don't go in on the physical sense. If somebody say something, it's not worth it. So that's all I could say.
Tonight, bad guy. I'm just gonna make it simple. It's very rare to see women will protect their man in a level of. Today we live in a realm of entitlement. Hey, it's only a very small group that does it, and they're very rare. I think there are a lot of them in this soil. Truth can be told. Basically, they could come out from the woodwork, or they'll keep hiding. That's what it is. It's what an interesting topic. I'm doing my best not to be triggered by I was telling my co-host here, bear paw or gorilla, choose one. I ain't no Groot. Other than that, interesting topic. This is my final thought from the African black grizzly bear.
Greg, you're up, bud.
Sorry, I've got nothing to say. I'm sorry, but I totally agree with a lot of the stuff you guys say. That's all I can say, mate. Sorry. Sorry about that.
You good, man? Sean, you there? Oh, Sean.
You in the night rider car again? Bum the street.
I think he's been having issues because he's been coming in and out. So I don't think. Let me do a quick schedule update.
He's driving. That's why.
Yeah. No, he's home. I think because I saw him in his house before. But anyway, let's do a quick schedule update. David, what's going on with you guys tomorrow? You guys,
I'm waiting. Right? I'm probably get a feedback from Waller because it's his turn. I remember the first round was your turn, second round was my turn, and his turn. So we'll see how we go about the programming. Other than that, I'm still working behind the scenes trying to figure out how we can fine tune our platform and Discord. We're looking for Discord engineer. Please, if you're good at what you do, give it a holler.
Sean, you want to get your final thoughts really fast?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. I was having some technical issues trying to figure this out. But what I would say is, can a woman protect a man? Women protect what they're loyal to. And they're usually loyal to their feelings more than anything, unfortunately. But if they're loyal to the man, they will take the effort and make the effort to protect them. If they're loyal to their children, if they're loyal to themselves, they will make the effort and protect them. We see it all the time. We see women when they don't even need protection, doing things that, we would think are unspeakable towards standing their ground and position on whatever it is that they are feel loyal to or feel they need to protect, whether it's their feelings, whether it's their position, whether it's their man, whether it's their child. They protect what it is that they're loyal to. Now, how do we get them a bit more loyal to their men that they quote unquote claim loyalty to? That's on y'all to try and figure out, ladies. But can you protect? Absolutely. Do you protect? Not usually. Should you protect? I think more often. And again, like I said earlier, protect against other women. That woman code, that's what's problematic right now. If you're loyal to that woman code, that's what you protect. I don't know why you're loyal to it. I'll leave it there.
Sean, thank you so much. Let's finish the schedule update and we can get out of here. So on Thursday, Paul and Coach will be having a show beginning of working out. Am I correct, Paul?
Yes. Starting to work out. What are some tips, some things you can do on the outset, things to look for. So yeah.
This Friday we'll be off. We won't have a show this Friday. Next Friday we'll be back with me and David's wrestling show. And on Saturday, I'm actually looking forward to the show. Zeus versus Odin, the Clash of Gods. Stop shaking your head over there.
My favorite part of history.
What's up, man?
My favorite part of history.
I'll send you the link if you want to join us. You're welcome to. Come on.
Oh yeah.
This the problem with Peter. He got the most unusual debate topics that lead to go one way or the other, or you go to the banana zoo. Which one is it? I don't know.
Listen, don't let my great father Zeus shove a lightning bolt up your ass.
You know what? All my Thor fan base, please come out here so we can make it hard for Peter, so he can feel the heat. Oh yeah, bring the clip of the movie when Zeus got his clock kicked by you know who in Blockbuster theaters.
So we will having a gray area Sunday. So a little schedule update also on top of the time zones things. So next week will be the last week that we'll have the Sparta Arena at 8:30. We're moving it back to 9:30 because my schedule is going back to normal finally. So the only one might stay still the same. And I gotta speak to my guys. Maybe be the hangout. I gotta talk to the guys on that and figure the solution to that. But for right now, it will be at 8:30 till we have a talk. Except that, as always, I'm Spartan. This is SQ Network. Excuse me, Spartan SQ Network. Shisha Lisha, that is Mr. President, the Witch Doctor, Bear Paul, Happy. And my boy Greg. Greg, welcome on board, man. I'm so happy to have you on, dude. Seriously, you're so
can you change that name from Greg? It's Craig.
Craig, I'm sorry.
I don't have a G at the beginning. It's a C.
I apologize. And my boy Peacock, and he has his music on. As always, guys, singing. Get me twisted here. As always, stay fresh, stay safe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.